Hi developers, I'm Hossein Abdullahi, Microsoft MVP. In this video, we'll learn how to send an authenticated HTTP delete request from our Xamarin Forms application to a backend that uses ASP.NET Identity. Our backend have protected web services that manages a list of ideas in our database. Those web services are protected using the attribute authorize. Authorize means that if we want to invoke those web services, then we need to authorize the user who is sending that HTTP request. Authorizing the HTTP request means that we need to input an access token inside the headers of that request. We saw how to do that with Postman, so we can generate that HTTP request by adding the headers in Postman. And today we'll see how to do that from Xamarin Forms application using C#. So from our Xamarin Forms application, we'll add the access token to the HTTP client object inside the headers of that request. So let's see how to do that in Visual Studio. We have started building this application in Visual Studio. We have created a backend using ASP.NET, and that uses identity for managing users. Then we do have a mobile application that uses Xamarin Forms. For the for the backend of our application, we do have an ideas controller, where here we do implement all the CRUD operations for managing the ideas. So we do have methods for getting the list of the ideas, changing an idea, adding idea, and delete idea. We have accessed all those web services from the Xamarin Forms application, and you can see the demo in previous videos where we have shown how to access each one of these web services in an authenticated way. Today we'll focus on the delete idea web service. And here you see that the delete idea web service will get the ID of that idea. We'll try to find that idea from the database. If that idea is null, that means that the idea doesn't exist, and in that case it will return not found 404. If the idea exists, then we'll verify if the user who created that idea is the same user who can delete that idea. For that, we are looking here for the user, for his identity, user ID, and from here this is an identity syntax. So because we are sending the access token with this request, we can get the user that corresponds to that access token, and by doing that we can get his ID. And then we'll compare that ID to the ID of the user who have created that idea, because for every idea we are registering, we do have the ID for the idea, but we have also the user ID, which references the user who have created that idea. So if everything is okay, then we'll do the modification inside the database. Then we'll return OK to 1. Now we have seen how to invoke this delete from Postman, and from Postman all we need to do right here is to identify the URL for our web service, which is here ideas / then we put the idea ID. We say we want to send a delete request. Then inside the headers we add the authorization header with the access token. So here the access token is preceded with the keyword bearer, which indicates the type of this access token. Now we'll try to create this HTTP request from C# using HTTP client library from our project in Xamarin Forms. For that, we go here to our Xamarin Forms project, to the portable project right here. And in the previous videos, we have implemented all the views needed to manage our list of ideas from within a mobile application that runs on Android, iOS, and Windows. You can see the demo, and I do really advise you to take a look at those demos, which are hosted here, or the code is hosted here on GitHub. Inside my GitHub repo right here, call it cheap ideas, where you will find all the code for all the demos that we did today, and along with the links for the previous videos, where here I explain what is OAuth, that is used right here by ASP.NET Identity to manage the list or to manage the user access. That means how to do login, sign up, and so on. We do also have all the other links for how to create a sign up page that will really add a user inside our ASP.NET database. Then here we do have another video for how to do login, then how to invoke protected web services to get the list of all the ideas from our database. So here let's start adding our feature or our functionality inside Xamarin Forms. For that, right here, you see that in the views folder, I create a page for listing all the ideas, changing an idea and adding a new idea. But here I will not add a new page for deleting an idea, but instead I'll do something that can save me time, which is I'll use or I reuse the edit idea page, because in the edit ideas page we are passing the idea to this page, so it have all the needed information like the idea ID. And from here we did pass it, so the idea from the ideas page by invoking a button or by selecting one of the ideas. Then we'll take that idea and pass it as a parameter to the edit idea page. So we'll take that idea here and pass it to our view model, which is edit idea view model. Then within the idea page we do have a button for doing edit idea. We'll add a new button if you want to delete that idea. So in the same page we'll have the two functionalities for editing an idea or deleting an idea. To do that, so I'll go and create a new button. This button is bound to a command. This command, we'll call it delete command. We'll create that command in a minute. Then here the text that will be displayed on this button will be delete idea. So let's go and create this delete command. We created it from inside our edit idea view model, which is bound to this page right here, because here we have set binding context equal edit idea view model. So let's go to edit idea view model, which is under my view models right here. Here we have that idea that we passed as a parameter, and we have set it from the edit idea page right here. And we do have the edit command. I'll add another command of type public, which is an I command also. Oops, should be I command. This command, we'll call it delete command. This delete command will have a getter, and this getter will return a new command. This new command will implement or will use a lambda expression. It will execute that lambda expression that will call API services. This class in this class we have already implemented all the logic for login, sign up, getting the users, putting and listing all the users from our web services. So this is the class that communicates with our web services. We'll create another method. For this class, we'll call that method delete idea async. Delete idea async. So let's create that quickly inside that API services. So we go to API services, and right here at the bottom I'll go and create another method. So right here I'll go and create a public method of type asynchronous that will return a task, and this method is called delete idea async because it's an asynchronous method. So we need to pass only an integer of which will be the ID for that idea. We don't need to pass all the idea object as we did with put, for example. And then of course we need to pass the access token, which will be used to authenticate our request. Then we'll create our HTTP client. So we say client equal new HTTP client. We'll add the authentication for that client by saying client dot default HTTP default request headers dot authorization equal new authentication header value. We specify the type of the access token, which is of type bearer right here, as we specified that in Postman. So we say it's bearer, then we pass the actual access token. Cool. After that, we only now need to invoke the delete async to go to that web service, and right from here we need to specify the URL of our web service, which is the same right here, and to that URL we need to add the ID for our idea, because right here, as we see, this ID that is passed as a parameter to the delete idea web service is passed through the URL. So this is this number here will be passed as the ID. So let's add that number. Let's say this is gonna be our ID. Cool. So this is an asynchronous method. We need to say await, and we can get a response from this web service. Let's say response equal this one. Cool. So this is all the code needed to send an HTTP delete request from our Xamarin application to our web services. Now let's call this from our view model. So here we call it the delete idea async. We need to pass the idea dot ID for our current idea, then pass the access token. The access token we have retrieved that value for the access token inside the login view model. When the user enters his username password, click the login button, then the web service will send back an access token. So we did register that access token using the settings, which is here a class that have static properties for registering username, password, and access token, and the settings exists inside a plugin called xam.plugin.settings, which is available as NuGet package. Once we have registered that access token, we can retrieve it back even if we relaunch the application. So we can access that settings dot access token to retrieve the stored value for our access token. Let's await for this, and by saying await, we need to specify right here that we want to execute this as an asynchronous lambda expression. Cool. So now let's execute this application and see it in action. Here I'm starting both the Xamarin Forms application as a Windows UWP app, and also at the same time I'm starting the Web API project. So here I can get all the ideas. We do have here 5 ideas. Let's create a new one, and let's say this is bad idea, and let's say description for bad idea, and then let's add a category. Let's say just bad. Add the new idea. So this is all the breakpoint involved. We'll go to the web service for posting a new idea. Hit continue. And then if we go back and try to retrieve again all the ideas, we see that a bad idea is added to our database. Now if we want to delete that idea, we go, and here you see we have both buttons for edit and delete. So we can say delete idea. If we go back right here and say let's refresh, you see that here the idea is no longer returned by our web service because it's deleted from the database. Cool. I hope this video was helpful for you, and don't forget to check the source code from GitHub right here under the repo /cheap ideas, and check all the previous videos to learn about how to create systems that authenticate users and protect your web services using ASP.NET Identity. So thank you.